Students, you know that present and past tense each has four subparts. I have already studied in my last two videos. Today we discuss about last two subparts, that is past perfect and perfect continuous and future tense. First of all, we discuss about past perfect and perfect continuous. So we give some points about the past perfect. First of all, you have to remember of the two actions in the past, the earlier action goes with perfect and the latter action goes with the past simple. And when two actions are in the past tense, the action which is earlier that goes with perfect and the action which comes later that is in past simple. For example, when I reached a school, the teacher and had already started his teaching. When I reached at school, the teacher had already started his teaching. Here, the earlier action is teacher had already started his teaching. A later action is I reached at school. So the latter action is used in past simple and earlier action is used in past perfect. Second example is when we arrived at the bus stop, the bus had left. Here there are two clauses. One is we arrived at the bus stop and other is bus had left. The earlier action is bus had left. Latter action is we arrived at the bus stop. So the earlier action is in past perfect and latter action is in past simple. Similarly, the second step is with the verb hope, expect, think, intend, mean, want, suppose to donate unfulfilled past hope and expectation. In those cases, we use past perfect. For example, they had hoped that they would reach the place by evening. They had hoped that they would reach the place by evening. In this case, past perfect is used because the verb hope is used in that case. Similarly, in third case, if sentences. In the case of if sentences, we also use past perfect. For example, if I had studied hard, I would have got more marks. Here there are two clauses. One is if clause and other is main clause. If clause is if I had studied hard. A main clause is I would have got more marks. Here if clause is past perfect. So these are the sentences about past perfect. Then go to past perfect continuous. We have already told you which are the helping verbs of past perfect continuous. For some activity that was going on from a particular point of time in the past before the result of that activity took place. In that case, we use perfect continuous. For example, at last my friend came. We had been waiting for him for 2 hours. At last my friend came. We had been waiting for him for 2 hours. Our waiting is first, then friends came. So there are two activity that is going in from a particular point. From particular point is that we had been waiting for him for 2 hours. That is a particular point. In the past, before the result of that activity took place, the result is at last my friend came. So particular in the case of particular point we use past perfect continuous. Second example is Gungun eyes were watering as her mother had been peeling onions for half an hour. Here, activity that is going from a particular point is her mother had been peeling onions for half an hour. A result is Gungun eyes were watering. So the activity which started from a particular point, in that case we use past perfect. So those are the uses of past perfect and perfect continuous. Then we go to tense future. We told about some examples about future tense. Students, I have also taught you what is future tense. Today I also remember you about what is future tense. Future tense indicates an action which will take place in future time. That is called the future tense. Here, future tense has four subparts. I have already taught you. First is simple future, in which cases simple futures is used. You have to remember it is used to express an action in future. That action which is expressed in future, we use future simple. For example, I shall go to Puri tomorrow. That is future. That event will be happened in future. So we use future simple here. Similarly, continuous, future continuous is also used, in which case it denotes an action going on at some point in future time. Mainly, future continuous is used when it denotes an action going on at some point in future time. In such cases, future continuous is also used. For example, he will be looking after the cows then. He will be looking after the cows then. Then that is the particular point. So future continuous is used here. Second example is I shall be washing my clothes. It is also used in future continuous. Then future perfect. It indicates that an action will be completed at some point of time in future. In that case, we use future perfect. For example, he will have completed 2 years in this school. Second example is they will have heard the news by the time you reach there. Those are the two examples of future perfect. Then fourth part is future perfect continuous. It is used to denote an action that will have been going on at or before some point of time in future. For example, he will have been studying commerce for 3 years by next year. Second example is they will have been studying English since morning. Those are the examples of different forms of the future. If you like my video, please like, share and subscribe.